There is no such thing as a superfood. My professional training is as a clinical biochemist. My area of expertise is exactly that, the biochemistry of the body in health and disease. As a clinical biochemist, I will tell you that there is no such thing as a superfood. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there are no foods that bring out any extra healing powers in your body. Even without food, your body is perfectly optimized to maintain and heal itself. In fact, there are times when food in your body, healthy or otherwise, will actually hinder your body from healing itself. This is why when we do feel a little ill, we lose our appetite. It's our body's way of stopping you from adding anything into your bloodstream that may get in the way of your body healing itself or further creating imbalances to its biochemical systems. There are only two kinds of foods. One, those that don't harm your body, and two, those that actively harm your body. There are foods that have a high nutrient density per calorie, and the more of these you eat, the healthier you are. But these don't necessarily trigger functions that your body doesn't already have to heal itself. Of course, a diet that has a high nutrient density per calorie food is better for you. But what is actually more important is not that it is good for you, but that it is not actively bad for you. There are foods that are actively bad for you. This is any food that falls under the category of junk food or processed food. These foods have 1. The basic cellular material that is supposed to be food being denatured and destroyed beyond recognition and function. And 2. Have exogenous chemicals that are foreign to your body added to them. These include foods that have more detrimental fats or more fats than you need, foods that have more sugar than you need, foods that have unnatural sugars such as high fructose corn syrup, foods that have substances that are literally chemicals that are foreign to your body added to them. All these actively cause harm to your body. If you have a dog, do this test. Pour some Coca-Cola in a bowl and present it to your dog. Then watch his or her reaction. Of course, don't let them drink it. But I've seen dogs walk away with their tails between their legs in response to that. And that pretty much says it all. As an FYI, here is a list of the chemicals in Coke Zero. Carbonated water, caramel color, which is an unknown chemical, phosphoric acid, which is a lab chemical, aspartame, which is a chemical that simulates sweetness, potassium benzoate, which is a lab chemical, natural flavors, I'm going to give that a question mark, potassium citrate, which is a lab chemical, acesulfame potassium, which is a lab chemical that simulates sweetness, and caffeine. And that is why your dog put its tail between its legs. I'm not sure of how many of those chemicals naturally occur in real food. Of the foods that are in the good category, that is, those that don't harm your body, they have no extra healing powers, and they cannot bring out in your body functions that your body doesn't natively have. Just aim to eat a good, well-rounded diet with minimal harmful foods, and you will live a long and healthy life. If you want to eat healthy, the best rule of thumb for eating optimally healthy is to eat food that is cells. If it has no cells, and that is what most processed food is, then don't eat it. If it is cells, whether raw, dried or cooked, then it is okay to eat, but not if you are adding actively harmful substances such as oil during deep frying. Our ancestors and deep jungle tribes that still exist didn't and don't cook their meat in oil. They cook their meat over open flames or hot coals. No oil needed. The only oils and fats are those that are naturally part of the cells that are being cooked. No exogenous bad stuff is added. Pretty much every animal on planet Earth consumes cells and cells only, whether herbivore, carnivore or omnivore. Isn't it interesting that animals suffer so much less general illness than we do, especially metabolic-based diseases? The more alive the cell is, the better it is, because you are extracting and absorbing raw and ready-to-use biochemicals that your very own cells will use, and all in perfectly exact and balanced proportions and ratios. And they have all the phytonutrient buzzwords you hear, such as antioxidants and anti-inflammatories, etc. A functioning cell is already in its perfect state, with all that it needs to be alive and functioning. Ultimately, you should be eating cells to feed your cells. Again though, you are not adding any magical powers to the healing processes in your body, but you are giving it the best of what it needs to function optimally. There is nothing wrong with saturating your levels of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. Saturation does not mean consuming toxic levels, it just means more than the recommended daily allowance. Maybe 50% more than the RDA is okay. You will achieve saturation levels and your body will just pass what it doesn't need or can't store. You won't get any special healing powers from saturating your body, but your body will have all the vitamins and minerals it needs to enable all the essential functions to occur in your body. No food has extra healing powers, whatever the peddlers of those foods may tell you, for example spirulina. They are indeed rich in all the vitamins and minerals and fall into the category of high nutrient density per calorie we looked at earlier, but they don't do anything that your body couldn't already do, nor do they trigger your body to do so. The human body is able to easily survive a 30-day fast. Sure, it might be unpleasant, but it says a lot about how well the body is able to function without any apparent superfoods, or any food for that matter. In fact, a body is generally able to optimally heal itself during periods of fasting. Intermittent fasting is all the craze these days, and there truly is merit behind it. You literally are giving some of your metabolic systems the break they need, and you are allowing your body to clean up artifact that is laying around as it searches for anything in your bloodstream that it can convert to energy. A perfect metaphor for this is that when I feed my pets, I often spill food around their bowls. I find that when I go to their bowls and they are empty, I can be 100% guaranteed that they have also eaten all of the food that had spilled on the floor around their bowls, and even the stuff that fell far from their bowls. Your body does the same thing during what is technically known as the starvation response. In fact, people who live the longest are those with generally the lowest calorie intake. These people seem to eat like sparrows and only eat what they need to meet their minimum caloric requirements. They are usually quite thin and lean. Why do they live longer? Probably because they are taking in less food overall and enjoying the benefits of always remaining slightly hungry. And they are certainly consuming, as a trickle-down effect, less of the food that actively harms your body. On the contrary, if you are overweight, you probably have consumed more of the bad stuff amongst the excess food you are consuming. It's not so much the extra weight that is unhealthy for you, but what is unhealthy is what may be constantly floating around in your bloodstream or stored in your adipose tissue, and or the extreme responses to the fine balance of biochemical processes in your body. These are the reasons that diabetes correlates directly with obesity. Incidentally, the Japanese have the highest life expectancy of 85.3 years, and they only have an obesity rate of 3.6%. This is just under 1/10 that of the US obesity rate. Yet, ironically, they have one of the highest smoking rates. Obviously, smoking is unhealthy activity, but it appears that consuming unhealthy food may be worse than or equally as unhealthy as smoking. With either, you are consuming chemicals that are actively bad for your body. However, I can't help but feel that unhealthy foods takes up a more permanent residence in your body. So again, there are no superfoods with magical powers to heal. There are only foods that don't harm your body and those that do. It is more important that you don't consume foods that actively harm your body than it is to not eat nutrient-rich food. The rule of thumb for a healthy long life is this easy. With everything you're about to eat, ask yourself and answer these questions. Is what I am eating or about to eat cells, whether they be cooked, dried, or raw? If the answer is yes, then eat. If no, then don't eat. And for anything non-cellular you may be adding to your cell meal, ask yourself, is this actively harmful for my body? Does this have weird chemicals? If yes, then don't add them. If no, then you can add it. The end. Thank you.